Um, there's this city called Capernaum, and as the rays of the Sabbath day comes upon this city that has been asleep, this new fresh day called the Sabbath day now has risen. The sun is rising, and the people that have been sleeping are now being awakened. It is a city not only that has been naturally sleeping, but they have been spiritually sleeping, and now they are about to awake to something that will revolutionize their lives. Sabbath preparation for this city had ultimately been made. And the preparation for this Sabbath for Capernaum was that there would to be no work on this day. No one was to labor. It is on this Sabbath day that they had to observe the Jewish law. But somewhere in the modest dwelling of one particular house, there was a man. This man arises with the rest of his family as the sun comes up. He struggles as he awakes. He begins to wipe the sleep out of his eyes, and he reaches for a basin of water and a towel. He does it with one hand. Strange as it may seem, he has done this for a long time. And in doing it for such a long time, he sometimes forgets that he only has one hand that he can use. Challenged by this story because it kind of concludes with the question, what does it matter anyway? Because this is the norm of your life. You have had this situation with your hand for a long time. The hand that is useless. When I read the scripture, you'll discover that it is a hand that has withered. It's no more able to be used. Yet once again, this man, he is reminded of it like some painful memory. He's reminded of it in the moment that he's reaching for the towel, that this one hand that's can, and it somewhat brings him to a place where he feels that because of his withered hand, he has missed out on some things in his life. So now it's a struggle in his mind to try to figure out, how in the world can I continue to do what I do? There's a sense in his mind that rises to a place where he asks himself some questions in respect to his withered hand. He asks himself questions like, I wonder, does my wife still love me? The years have already passed where she has been with him, but he comes to this moment where he questions, does she still love me? Am I still important to my children? Somehow this it's not a new discovery, but it's a daily discovery now, where this withered hand seems to now push him to a place where he feels inadequate, not enough. He even raises the question, I wonder if God really loves me. Because how can he love me and allow me to be in this condition? His dreams, his desires, his aspirations seems to have fallen prey to the reality of a withered hand that doesn't work. And it is in that moment that the increased pain of being less than becomes so dominant, becomes so powerful. It is in that moment that he begins now to cry. And the hot tears begin to flow. And in his tearing, in his painful moment, he says, if I could only get better, if I could only get rid of this thing, this hand that I've carried for so long. Tears are now dropping from his face. No doubt his head is down and he's bent. He's bent by the pain of a desire for something better. His mind is clouded with thoughts that obscure any sense of a clear, rational answer to the questions that he has about his condition. He begins another day. And it is in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 12. I might draw your attention. Matthew chapter 12, verse 9, I pick up the story in the text. And then when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? That they might accuse him. And he said unto them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep? And if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much more? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days. Verse 13. Then saith he to the man, Stretch forth thine hand. And he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like as the other. Stretch. Stretch. This man's withered hand wasn't hurting him, really. It wasn't hurting him. He still had one good hand. He still had he had two feet. He had everything else appeared to be working in this man's body except for this withered hand. That's challenging. It became very challenging to me because some of us who sit in this room, some of us who are watching my streaming, we appear at times to have it all together, but then there's that one thing. I would, as a good preacher, I would kind of focus on that, but I want to bring out the power and the essence of this story, because this was the Sabbath day, where the Jewish tradition says there ought to be nothing to be done in the synagogue on the Sabbath day. But why this man, but why would he break the Jewish law and go into the synagogue when he knew that nothing crippled or maimed could come into the synagogue? Nothing crippled, nothing maimed was supposed to go there. Can you imagine? It is set up in the Jewish tradition, in the law, that no crippled, no maimed person was allowed into the synagogue on the Sabbath. He knew he wasn't supposed to be up in there. He knew it wasn't right for him to be there. He knew that he was going to get it if he showed up in the synagogue, but yet he comes in anyway. And then why would Jesus risk breaking the Jewish law and the penalty it would require of him if he healed this man's withered hand? Two things. The man knew he wasn't supposed to be up in there. And then Jesus decides that he's going to respond, help me Jesus, to this man's pain. Jesus, knowing that the Jewish law says he can't do it, can't be done. This is not supposed to be this way. This is not supposed to happen in the synagogue. This is the holy synagogue of God. But Jesus breaks protocol because he don't know who to call. Jesus decides that what is the norm of tradition cannot be the reason for this man's repositioning. I'm going somewhere with this in a minute. You see, let me just raise this point. Real hunger, somebody say real hunger. Real hunger for change does not care about church order. Let me try that one more time. Somebody's going to get this morning. Real hunger for change, real hunger for manifestation, when it's real, when there is a real hunger. Have you ever been hungry for something that it didn't matter what your condition said? It was your hunger that drove you past it. Real hunger. I wish I could get in the church some real hungry people for manifestation. Because real hunger will make you look past this is not to say we got to get out of order, but it'll look past church order. Sometimes, oh God, don't go there yet. Everybody say genuine need. Yeah, genuine need for God's help doesn't care what you think should be happening in the service. No, I'm not going to go there just yet because I feel like I want to really, really preach and scream and holler. Here's what we got to understand about Jesus. Jesus doesn't care about your religious list of do's and don'ts. That he's not concerned. He's not all that concerned about our religious church order. You know, the things that we want to see happen that may not be in line with God will make happen. God will interrupt. Oh, glory to Jesus. He'll interrupt what you want to do to get done what he wants to get done. He's not all that concerned because the truth of the matter is with Jesus, what he came to do is to save, to seek and to save that which was lost. What he came to do was to deliver people from their sins. He came to heal the brokenhearted. So what he wants to do doesn't mean he has to wait for you to make other things happen or do other things for him to do what he wants to do in the moment that he wants to do it. Somebody is sitting here right now waiting for a magic moment. I come to tell you, you're in it. You're in it because Jesus is here. All he needs to know is that you have a hunger for him to do what only he can do. Our schedule, our expectations may not have room for this to happen, but when someone shows up who doesn't know or care about what is normal around this house, things may get pretty mixed up in this house if we're not careful. You'll be sitting there and we'll be doing one thing and somebody will find themselves at the altar because that's where they believe that the need that they have is going to be met. It may not be met in the seat that they're sitting in, but something, oh God, help, no. The hunger. In order for real change to take place, there must be a genuine desire for that change. Look at your neighbor and ask your neighbor this question for me. How desperate are you? This man hungered for change. And he risked breaking the Jewish law by going to the synagogue with the hope that maybe, just maybe, I don't know if I can get anybody who will come to church with a just maybe. Just maybe, if I just get in there, there's a possibility that the Lord will heal me. Just maybe. This man had the drive in him that had mixed with the drive a possibility. Just maybe. There's enough hope in me that says maybe Jesus might heal my body. Well, touch your neighbor and tell your neighbor he wasn't supposed to be in the synagogue. The law said he could not come to the synagogue because of his withered hand. Yet he came. Give somebody a high five and say, yet he came. Yet. I wish I can get some yet I'm coming anyway people. Desire brought him. Faith drew him. Hope pulled at him. The yearning for something better compelled him. The craving for a better life constrained him so much so that he was willing to break the rules to get what he needed. This season of manifestation, for some of you, you're going to have to break some rules. Oh God. You see, he was so drawn by the invisible power and presence and force of God's Spirit. He came into a place he never thought he would come into. But because of this invisible drawing force of God. See, you're not here by accident. I know you had made plans to come here, but there is a power that drew you into this moment. I gotta say it again. You're not here. Grab the hand of your neighbor. Say, neighbor, you're not here by accident. You're not even here by your own volition. You are here because the Lord has drawn you here, because when you get here, there's something that he has prepared for you when you get in the room, when you come into the presence of the Lord. There's something that he has prepared for you. That's why you come into his gates with thanksgiving and courts with praise, and you're already thankful unto him before there was a song, before there was a prayer. You recognize that I'm here out of the mind of God, the will of God. I wish I can get somebody to believe that you're here because God wanted you. He summoned you here. He drew you here. It was no accident if it was hard for you to get here. But somehow, I wasn't supposed to preach like this just yet. Give your neighbor one more high five and say, the force got me up in here. And then some of us, we can't tell others what has withered in us. But because of our condition, it was by the grace. Oh, there it is. It was by the grace. His grace has brought me this. Oh, God. Man. So standing, let me finish my story, y'all. So standing, no doubt, in the doorway of the synagogue, he must have wondered in his mind, how did I get here? Here's something that we got to understand about Jesus. You see, Jesus' ministry brought something into this world that this world has never seen before. His ministry brought the miraculous. It brought possibilities into the earth. It brought potential. There's a possibility, I don't know who this is for, but there is a chance. There's a possibility. There's a chance that every yoke can be destroyed in your body. Every yoke that have bound you up and caused you not to get what God promised you can be broken today. I don't know if I can get somebody to believe this, but I need you to somehow wiggle your way up, wiggle your way through, your way in, and raise that desire that you have to not be the same that you were last week, last month, last year. But I need you to know that God has called you to a fresh moment so that he can manifest whatever it is that you need. If it's healing, he wants to get you your healing. If it's deliverance, he wants to set you free. If it's to raise you up a little bit higher, he wants to do just that. God wants to do it, and he brought you to the place where he can do it. I dare you to look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, he brought me to this place so that he can do his work. No, find somebody else and tell them, he brought me to this moment so that he can do his work. I need somebody to tell your neighbor, he designed this moment so that he can work the works of him who have sent me to this place. He wants to work in you because you have heard his call. I know I tell y'all to touch each other a lot, but this is so powerful. I need you to grab the hand of your neighbor one more good time and say, I'm here because he called me here. Now, so whatever it is that I stand in need of, my God shall supply all of my needs. Jesus brings potential. He brings possibilities. I know you feel like you could never get out of that situation, but he gives you possibilities. He gives you potential. Like a bright light in a dark room, Jesus' ministry brought hope into a world that did not have hope. Never before had people who were sick or leprous or withered have hope like this man had hope. There is a possibility, Deborah, of change. It's possible. Somebody shout, it's possible. Yeah. The likelihood for a miracle, for manifestation is real right now. Right now, it's just for him a withered hand. But there is potential beyond this withered hand. It's right now for someone who is wrestling with their addiction. Right now, it's just another marriage on the rocks, another teenage statistic, one more casualty to be added to the list of hopeless and depressed lives. But for this man, I'm looking at his story again. For this man, there was something out there that he hadn't reached for yet. There was something out there that was just beyond the reach of his ordinary handicapped life. Something was out there for him. It was there waiting for him to simply stretch beyond his circumstances. It was waiting for him to reach beyond anything he had ever in his life reached for in his past. It was there. It was there. And I hear Jesus telling somebody today, stretch forth thine hand. Get beyond the witheredness and step into your manifestation. I hear somebody clapping because you're getting a hold of this, but I need everybody to give God real good, quick shout of praise right now, because something is about to happen. Jesus says to the man, stretch forth your hand. Can I ask you this question this morning? What's your problem? What is it that's keeping you from saying yes to Jesus today? What is it that keeps you from reaching out to him today and allowing him to touch your life and make you whole? Somebody say stretch. Reach over, stretch, and grab your neighbor and pull him and say stretch. Stretch. Tell him stretch forth. Tell him stretch forth. Tell him stretch, 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 stretch. Don't just sit there, but stretch, stretch, stretch. Don't just sit there, but stretch. I'm trying to get this. I got some more information I want to give you. Stretch forth comes from the original Greek word ektino, which means to extend, to cast, to put forth, and to stretch out. You got to throw yourself out there. You got to cast yourself out there. I'm not going to stay here. I'm going. Do me a favor, make this note in you somewhere. Faith, I said make it a note. Faith requires stretching. Your faith has to stretch. It's required. Manifestation requires you to stretch. How bad do you want it? The miraculous of God requires you to extend yourself. It requires your faith to go where it has never gone before. Oh, Jesus. If you need a miracle in your life today, I want you to know it's not going to come by you having the level of faith you've had so far, because else the miracle would have already come. If that was required, you would already got that miracle. But this next level of manifestation is going to require much more. Come on, somebody shout much more, God. No, say God at the end of that. Say much more, God, much more. Yeah. That's much more required of me in my faith walk with the Lord. Some things are worth stretching for. Some things are worth reaching for. There's a life in the Lord Jesus Christ that's worth praying for. It's worth fasting for. Come on, somebody. It's worth all the sacrifice. It's worth all the commitments. It's worth it all. Let me see if I can hurry and close. Verse 13. It says, then saith he to the man, stretch forth thine hand. And he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like as the other. The Bible says, when he tells the man to stretch forth his hand, he says, and it was made whole. When the man stretched, there's some things you're going to have to do to demonstrate the God that you really wanted. No, there's some things you got to do to demonstrate to God that you really want it done. What is it that you want God to do? You got to decide to stretch forth to make it happen. Let me close. So he says, stretch forth your hand. And the Bible says that he stretched forth his hand and it was restored. I was reading this over and over again. He was restored, 100% restored. Somebody say restored. Restoring, or to be restored, tells us that it wasn't always withered. It wasn't always so messed up. You can't restore something that was not. You create what is not. You restored what? The Bible says that he was restored. So somehow, I think this is the reason why it was such a burden for him, because I don't believe that he was born that way. But something happened to bring about this witheredness in his hand. And it took Jesus to now come and say, now I need you to stretch beyond what has now attached itself to you. Somebody give your neighbor a high five and say, I'm getting ready to stretch. So please don't get nervous when my hand comes across your face. Don't get nervous when my feet starts to step on your toes. Don't get nervous, because I'm about to stretch. I don't know, we don't read what caused the witheredness in this man, but we do know it wasn't always that way. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I wasn't always that way. I wasn't always like that. There are some things that have happened in my life that made me think like that, that made me act like that, that made me talk like that. I wasn't created like that. That wasn't the way I was supposed to be. But things happened in my life that brought me to this place where I feel like my dreams have withered. My vision has withered. I'm not clear on where I want to be, what I want to do, how God even wants to use me now in this season of my life. I wasn't worried. I didn't come out that way, but I made some mistakes along the journey. But I hear somebody that needs to hear this today. I hear you crying out, Lord, what next? I'm telling you, what's next is you to stretch yourself out of what is so that you can get to your next. And it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be crazy a little bit, but you are on your way to a better place. Oh, God, help me. I got to close. Yeah. Maybe it was a childhood injury. I don't know. Maybe result of a parent's neglect. I don't know. Maybe some abuse he never deserved, but maybe some sickness. I don't know. Who tells us, but Hold tells us, this is what I get, but Hold tells us that Jesus didn't just take the man halfway. Woo, this is going to be helping. This is going to help somebody. God, in this season of manifestation, is not just going to bring you halfway. I need you to tell your neighbor, I'm getting it all. I'm getting it all. This is my season to recover all, to restore all, to have all. And Jesus is not going to do it halfway. He's about to complete the work that I wish I can get somebody to get a hold of this. He's about, Wally, he going to complete what he started in you. That devil has held you down long enough. You have held yourself down long enough. It's stretching. It's stretching. Let me finish stretching. All right, here we go. Oh, stretching. Here. I wanted to say this. When God does a work in your life, he does it all the way. Can I get somebody to believe that you have stepped into a all the way manifestation? You're not going to halfway get there. You're not going to 3/4 of the way get there. Oh, I wish I could get four people to say, I'm going, it's all the way. All the way. I'm going all the way. No matter what tomorrow brings, all the way. No, sorry. That's Andre Crouch a long time ago. Stretching. Let me give you some insight. Stretching. Everybody say stretching. I'm gonna try to go to my wireless. Is that okay? I only hesitated because I didn't see anybody. There. Stretching. I said to Pam, I need some rubber bands. I need some rubber bands. And I need people to see. And I'm gonna get everybody a rubber band before you leave here. Because I want you to leave here knowing that it's your season for manifestation, but it's going to take you to stretch. Let me give you some understanding. Stretching is a form of physical exercise in which a specific muscle or tendon or muscle group is deliberately flexed or stretched in order to improve the muscle's felt elasticity and achieve comfortable muscle tone. I'm sorry. The result is a feeling of increased muscle control. I like to say it's a feeling of increased faith control. Flexibility, it is a thing that causes flexibility and range and gives you a greater range of motion. Stretching creates flexibility. You see, you got to be flexible when you step into God's manifestation. You can't be the same way. You can't be stiff. You can't be stagnant. You can't just say, I don't know if I can do this. No, you got to increase your muscles so that your faith muscles, so that God can bring about manifestation. Okay, I got some more. The result is a feeling of increased muscle control, flexibility, and range of motion. Stretching is also used therapeutically to alleviate cramps. Stretching gets rid of the cramps. Even before you exercise, you should stretch first, because you're about to awaken some muscles that have been sleeping. Y'all not getting this by the Spirit. Okay, I got more. In its most basic form, stretching is a natural and instinctive activity. It is performed by humans and many other animals. It can be accompanied by yawning. I used to think that yawning was just an ordinary, natural, common thing that took place when you wake up in the morning. But sometimes I don't always yawn in the morning. Sometimes I yawn at night. But what I'm clear on is there will be times when I need to yawn, and the reason why I need to yawn is so that I can stretch my jawbones, my muscles in my mouth. Spiritually, I'm sorry, I'm going real fast. I really wanted to walk this thing out, but for us spiritually, we yawn, there's yawning, we yawn, because we're getting ready to say something. And what you're getting ready to say is going to produce something. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. That's why the enemy doesn't want you to work out with your jaw. He doesn't want you to work out. He doesn't want you to wake up in the morning and go like this. He wants you to wake up and go like this. Because he knows once you start the activity of using the opening and the closing of, y'all not getting this. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, I got more. Increasing, this is important because stretching increases your flexibility. Increasing flexibility through stretching is one of the basic tenets of physical fitness. You see, here's a part that I haven't shared this to you before about this manifestation. I need us to get ready for the manifestation by becoming fit for it. We talked about last week about preparing. We are prepared for it. And some of you need to get yourself to working out so that when the manifestation comes, you'll be able to carry it. You'll be strong enough to carry it because you got your muscles ready. You're toned up. Oh my God. Okay, let me hurry up. It is common for athletes to stretch before and after exercise in order to reduce injury and increase performance. I'm sorry. For some of us, you got to get yourself ready for this. To increase performance, to reduce injury. Aren't you tired of the enemy messing with you? I know the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. Yes. But if you don't put on the whole armor of God that you'll be able to stand And having done all to stand, having your loins girded about with truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the helmet of salvation, feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. If you don't get this body to work itself out so that God can put something in it that will drive you to the place of his completing his work in your life, you didn't get that. You got to get yourself ready so God can put what he needs to put in you so that you can bring about a manifestation of what God has. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. It's time to get ourselves spiritually fit for manifestation. And it involves, okay, flexibility, being flexible, being able to go with the flow of God. Okay, I got too many notes for me to stop. When you stretch, you become more flexible. Becoming more flexible allows you to do some things you were never able to do before. I was in the store yesterday. This was yesterday. Honest to God, true story. I was in the store yesterday, and I was just minding my business, picking up my Epsom salt that I soak in because I work out, not as much as I should, but I do work out. And this guy walks in, this guy comes in, he's coming down the aisle. I see him coming down the aisle, and he's buffed when I tell you he's buffed, I mean, that muscles are protruding. I'm telling you. And he's coming down. He's got his headphones on his head, not on his ears. It's just on his head. And he looks a little scary. He got this beard. He's coming down the aisle, And he sees me. And you know, we play games, but you see people who see you. And he's coming, and I see him coming, and he's coming with that look like, I think I know this guy. And I'm like, oh shoot. And one point, you know, while I'm walking and I'm pushing my basket. I'm walking, I'm pushing my basket, and I was leaning over first, but then when I saw him, I stood up. You know, right out of you kind of turn those arms in a little bit. You know what I'm talking about, Reggie. You know what I'm talking about, right? So he gets close enough to me where he says, Bishop Searight? You know me, I do this thing when people say, Bishop Searight? I immediately say, how you feel about him? You like him, you don't like him? Because if you don't like him, that ain't me. If you've been looking for him, nah. We all got lookalikes. but he knew when he said, Bishop Searight? I said, hey, bro. He said, man. You know, he said, man, you look good. I ain't say nothing, honest to God. I let him do all the talking. He said, dude, you look good. You working out? Now, I had to decide how I was going to answer that. Was I going to answer it in the narrative of, yeah, I work out, and leave out how much working out I do? Or just say, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do it. I just said, let me be honest. Well, not as much as I need to. He said, well, dude, man, whatever you doing is working. I swear to you, I wish I could have filmed it. I ain't lying. I'm telling you. He said, working out. He said, how old are you? I said, man, I'm 63 now. He said, yo, dude, you look like you're 40, man. I said, brother, what you come to buy? Because I'm buying it for you. Whatever you want, I'm getting it. I'm paying for your stuff right now. No. He said, man, you look 40, dude. What is it? And I said, well, what I do is, I'm into making sure that I'm healthy so that God can use me. He says, man, well, that's weird. Because then he says, well, you know, I'm a member of the cathedral and what have you. I said, oh, wow. Thank God. He said, man, I need you to come. I need you to come. He says, I do the gym. I work at I can't tell you where, but because it's a commercial and I ain't getting paid for it. He said, I want to give you some free passes for you to come and you know, work you out a little bit. I said, man, that sounds real good. I think I may be interested in that. He said, yeah, I'm gonna send you. He said, give me your number. I said, no. He said, I said, my number. I said, I tell you what, I'll give you my email address. Give me my email address. And sure enough, let me get a long story short. I get home last night and he emailed me, sent me some free tickets to get into the gym, to work out. But before I get to that, he said, yeah, you need to come so that, you know, hey, you know, you're doing all right. I said, yeah, but you just see this, my clothes on and stuff, but I need some work done on some other areas that I know, that I'm aware of. He said, well, that's all you need to do is come and we can tone you up, man. We can assign a trainer to you who can help you and walk you through it. And I've had trainers before. He said, make you fit so that you can make some things happen for you, not just from a physical standpoint, but he says, when you are physically fit, it also it helps your mind. And I thought about, and I was thinking about my message, how this withered man, his hand was withered, but when God makes him whole, he makes him whole. He makes him whole. He finishes everything in the man. No doubt, and we don't read it, but I'm closing. No doubt in the man, he had to change his confession. He had to change what he thought about his condition, which is now no longer. I'm coming to tell somebody today, God is about to stretch you to another place. Now here's a challenge with our stretching. Sometimes when you get something, you grab a hold of that, and you're being stretched. Come on, you got to hold it up so people can see. When you're being stretched, sometimes you don't know how far you can go. And in your mind, you're thinking, when that pops, somebody is going to get stung. So we sometimes. Lexi, you ain't got to wear it. Well, no, you may be worried. So we sometimes hesitate because it speaks to a place of not being comfortable. It speaks to a place of the unusual. It speaks to a place of not the norm. So we don't let it stretch as far. I don't know how far I can go, but it's bringing your fingers together. Stretching will make you change the formation of your being. It's the stretching. And then, Pam said this to me this morning. Sometimes when you're being stretched so far, it's so that when God has stretched you for the purpose of releasing you, sometimes when he stretches you and you didn't prepare yourself, when he wants to release you, you go nowhere and all you feel is the pain of the stretch. And it's only until he stretches you to release you that you make your way in the season of your manifestation. Who are you? Feel the stretching of God. He's stretching you to launch you. He's pulling the bow back and he's stretching it as far as he can because he's about to let you loose. Can I get maybe 10 of you to believe that it's your season of manifestation, to be launched into your destiny? And while the stretching is even sometimes uncomfortable. Give me some more. Give me some more. The stretching is uncomfortable. And most of the time when it's uncomfortable, we ask ourselves the question, Lord, why now? Why is this happening to me? And he's saying, because I'm getting ready to do this with you. I designed your life to not to be stagnant, but to put you out there beyond your being so comfortable. You've been so comfortable. When you felt that pain of disappointment, it was just stretching you to believe me. She said yes. To trust me. Sometimes God stretches you. He's right in your face. And sometimes you're stretching. When you experience the stretching, you just want to duck. Your ducking days are over. Take the stretch. Take the stretch. Receive. Wow, stretching your baby girl. How many months are you? Okay. He's stretching you. I thought I could use your stretching as a part of my message, but that's okay. He's stretching you. Because you're about to give birth to something. You're about to bring something to manifestation. Anybody else want some stretching? Okay. Anybody else want stretching? Come on. Help me. Stretch with the people. Stretching. Stevie's been stretching you. He's been stretching you. He's been stretching you. He's been stretching you. He's been stretching you for a purpose. But I don't understand this withered hand of mine. I've been like this for a long time. I wasn't born with it, but I've been like this for a while. And it's time for my season to get out of here. So he stretches you. It's time to be stretched. It's time to be stretched. How did y'all get stretches? That's Alex. Oh.
I'm gonna need to stretch, Bishop.
Let me say this final word to you. Hey, baby. This final word to you is that stretching in the things of God is so that you can have more flexibility. Sometimes your manifestation is in line with someone else's manifestation. And God will stretch you so that he can stretch somebody else. And the reason why I feel led to say this is because there's so much manifestation coming for the people of God. That what God is about to manifest in your life is more than you. Do I have any homes represented? He's gonna bring some manifestation to your children's children. So let him stretch you. Let him stretch you so that you can be flexible, because you may wake up in the morning going one way and he'll send you in another way. Flexibility is key in the things of God.